G'day guys, welcome to another episode of PBHQ Live. I am Dwayne Nichols. It is May 22nd, 2023, episode 347, heaps on the paintball agenda. Tonight mostly revolving around the Super 7s, of course. Over the weekend the Super 7s Semi Pro Division was on, 9 teams competed there. You're going to get all the results and a bit of feedback on how that all played out this weekend just gone, as well as the Super 7s Pro Division coming up this weekend, a Sunday only event. They had 6 teams at round 1 and ran over 2 days, but 6 teams again turning out this time, and they're going with a single day Sunday only event that we'll be covering off on as well. If you are in the chat, you can always drop a comment and let me know who you are and where you are, the team that you play for. In what involvement did you have playing paintball over the weekend, whether that was training, preparing for an event, whether that was playing the Super 7s. If you've got something coming up, let us all know. Tom Boyd is in, Dan Anderson from PPG is in, Brad Short, Brent Mitchell, Cooper, James, Donovan Newton from the Bush Pigs, Luke from Make It Rain, Billy Kalai. So a bunch of the Wicked Assassins guys are in, and there's probably good reason for that. I used to find, going back pre-COVID, that if we had an event, and I'm talking the days when the Pro and Semi-Pro divisions were on the same weekend, I would always get teams. I'll give an example. Maybe someone like Perth Crisis for a good example. A lot of the guys from Perth Crisis wouldn't watch PBHQ every week, but if they ever won an event or got second at a Super 7s Pro event, you could bet that half the Perth Crisis lineup would be in the chat that Monday night, ready to see maybe what I had to say about them, maybe what they wanted to say to everybody else in the chat. They were a real good example of that. Sean is in saying played with Shenanigans, had a great time. John O'Collins is in. Estevan's in. Lance Hughes is in. Russell from New Zealand, so a little bit of love from New Zealand there. Susan is in from the US as well, so thanks for checking out the show. Let's just get it right on with it. And I've got a bit of a unique ad from paintballshop.com for this week. Unique in the sense that I'm not necessarily advertising a paintball product, but I am advertising something that's very handy for paintball. Mike said that he's gone out and spent a bunch of money on a new laminator or laminated machine. I'm not sure exactly of the machine that it is, that creates laminated stickers. So if you want those stickers that you put on your pods so that no one steals them, or so that the people that steal them know that they stole them from you, well, you can get those from paintballshop.com. Now, if you want to get new loader numbers, such as number 89 is a great example. A couple of top light players here in Australia use the number 89. At least one of them that I can think of, being me, uses the number 89. I also used Asylum as the example on the team pods there. Or if you wanted to put a PBHQ sticker on your mask lens, for example, well, you can do that too. They're all available now at paintballshop.com. Speak to the guys, Adam, Mike, John. They'll point you in the right direction to get your team some gear. And from speaking to Mike, the sizes that they can do these are enormous. They could potentially, and have done in the past, full wraps on cars. So if you want your car wrapped, if you want a sticker for your back window or your side window for your paintball team, or for something unrelated to paintball, well, they can do that for you too. So speak to paintballshop.com and see if you can't find a use for their new machine and all the stickers that they can make. Connor Johnston from PB Athlete is in, and Jordan Bradshaw also from the Wicked Warriors, so the Wicked Assassins family joining in. So many of those guys in at the moment. Feel like it's almost like a private party for those guys. Thomas Hitchman saying drop a like. Yeah, go on, do that. Absolutely. And I checked just before the show went live. I had 199 subs to the YouTube channel, and I've had YouTube for some time and rarely used it up until a couple of months ago when I switched over from Facebook to doing the show live here. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I encourage you to do that. That way you'll get your notifications on Monday that the show is going live. And yeah, if you hit the thumbs up button, that's great. The best thing that you can do for the show is to share it. So if you share it to your social media feeds, that is the best thing that you can do. Chris Dickens just joining in at the moment. And Marcus from the Outlaws in Singapore is in. And I should have reached out to Marcus today. He's been coming out and playing in Australia, or has played back as far as 2017 or 18 when he was playing with Syndicate and dominating the Semi Pro Division back then against me. and our guys from Asylum. So it was good to see him bringing the whole team out this time from Singapore and having such a great weekend. And I've heard nothing but good things about those guys on the field, off the field. A lot of good feedback about the guys from Outlaws in Singapore. So hopefully we'll see them out in Australia again sometime. Another quick mention, sort of giving away a little bit of the upcoming results here, which sometimes happen. Well, I shouldn't say sometimes. It happens quite a bit with Gladiator because Gladiator consistently sponsor some of the best teams in Australian paintball. Obviously, this coming weekend, the Eskimo Brothers, who were the 2022 series champions and the 2023 round one winners, they're coming up this weekend. So good luck to those guys. And the Wicked Warriors, part of the Wicked Assassins family in Semi Pro, got the win on this weekend just gone by. So just another example of Gladiator teams doing incredible things, finding themselves on podiums, and you'd be a pretty ordinary tipster if you were going to bet against the Eskimo Brothers getting on the podium this coming weekend. Brad saying the Super 7s was such a close event. Anyone could have taken the podium as proven by the Bush Pigs. Jordan saying it was a crazy weekend. Yeah, and Cameron from Bush Pigs is in. Yeah, well, I will talk about that in just a sec. I wanted to quickly touch on this move. You may have seen, if you've been following the NXL in the US over the weekend, it was announced that Rob Velez, formerly of Revo for a number of years, is back with their pro system. He had taken a bit of a step away from the pro scene and had been playing in the semi-pro division with Blast Camp, I believe it was, for the first couple of events this year. He's making his way back onto Revo, and they could do with a hand. A team that is usually so consistent and playing on Sunday more often than not have not been performing at their best so far this year. So I think that's a handy pickup to see Rob back on the pro field. So good luck to him and the Revo guys at the next event, which I think is sort of not all that far away, maybe towards the end of June. I haven't looked all too far ahead, but the NXL with 5 events throughout the year, and they only run from February through November. So it's one every 2 months. They don't muck around getting those events in back to back at the moment. And Donovan saying, I thought that with the draw to Shens that we were out. Tom saying the guys from Outlaw Singapore are such a great bunch of blokes. Awesome. I did see the photo, and it might even be the photo that I choose to use here. Let's have a look right now. Stop talking about it. We'll just have a look. Yeah, I quite like this photo of the 2 finals teams from that event over the weekend, and I noticed a sneaky VB in a hand of a couple of those Outlaws boys. So I don't know who got them onto those. And I don't know who needs to apologize for getting them onto VB with all of the potential options that you have. Hopefully it was some guy at a bottle shop that just steered them down that way. But regardless, the Wicked Warriors got the win. Outlaws Singapore got second and Bush Pigs third. And to sort of summarize some of the stuff the people in the chat are talking about in regards to how close the event is, at the close of play Saturday, I believe Bush Pigs were last. I seen a post about it. There was like a 3-way tie for first, and maybe like a 3-way tie for, I guess it would be fourth. But even the teams that were outside of that were very close and in the hunt. And then Bush Pigs, with their couple of prelims Sunday morning, get a win and a draw. Some other results go their way. They sneak into 4th place. Then they lose that match with a chance to go play for first, second. In the playoff for third, they go out and get the win. So congratulations to those guys. Really cool result for them to get 3rd place. Again, the Outlaws from Singapore getting second. Knowing Marcus and seeing some of their results at previous events in Malaysian, just Asian events generally, I would have put the Outlaws down as a favorite going into that event. But the Wicked Warriors were the team that got the job done. Heard from teams that the paint bills weren't as dramatic as I expected, given the layout that we sort of looked at a couple of weeks ago on the show, and that's being played for this event. Most teams falling somewhere between the sort of low 20s, and I think maybe 1 or 2 teams got up into the 30-ish boxes of paint. Considering it was 9 teams, so a pretty full event, that's pretty good for semi-pro. There has definitely been events going back a couple of years that were much higher than that. I think the standard of play across the board was at least in the reports to me, was really high and really close. And that was aided by the fact that a lot of the semi-pro teams were allowed to have one pro player on their roster. In previous years, it has not been allowed for teams to have a pro player playing at the semi-pro event. So say for round 2, even though it is across 3 weekends, there's been no allowances for pro players to play on the semi-pro division. John and Mike at some point have obviously changed that rule. So guys like Brandon Miller, Elmo were out there. I think I seen one of the Simpson brothers was playing with the Wicked Assassins. Various teams, Mo might have been playing out there as well, had pro players, regular, consistent pro players jumping in with semi-pro teams. And Donovan, who was in the chat at least earlier, compared it most to what it was like for the US pros coming out and playing in the pro division here in Australia, and the benefit that that provides to teams in the pro division here. Well, then you get guys like Elmo, who's been a 10-year pro here in Australia, dropping down into semi-pro, helping out the Bush Pigs, for example. So that's awesome to hear. Marcus is saying the team had the best experience ever competing over the weekend. Huge shout out to all the teams, refs and organisers. Thank you. 4-way tie for 4th, and yeah, they were 8, a half point behind. So yeah, for the Bush Pigs, that is that I'm talking about. That's incredible. And Billy saying the boys from Singapore got the beer for us for helping them in the pits. Right, good fellas. And you can understand there might have been a cultural misunderstanding or something there where they think that VB is a beer that people actually like here. But geez, that's few and far between for most of us. But the best kind of beer is a free beer. And if the guys bought them for you, it just talks a lot about the character of the guys. So absolute legends for doing that. 8 teams total. Yeah, my apology. Yeah, sorry, 8, not 9. But still, yeah, pretty full event for the weekend. Heard good things about the layout. Teams were surprised about how fun it was. Heard good things about the paint. Said there was a few bounces, but nothing dramatic. And from the little bit that I seen, no one mentioned the weather to me, but it looked clear and not too bad, maybe a bit fresh in the mornings. So yeah, good to hear that everything went well at the Super 7s. The semi-pro division has been the sort of shining light this year as far as teams are concerned, with pro and AMS both being sort of 6 and 7 teams there and thereabouts. The semi-pro division has had the best turnout and has got players like the Immortal Knights, who finished 4th. So a New Zealand team coming over, as well as the guys from Singapore. Massive turnout. Interstate and international players really like that. Tom saying beer and paintball, a perfect combination. Yeah, hard to argue. And Brent said they went to the Bottle-O and asked for the most popular. Yeah, well, Western Sydney, VB, yeah, I could see that. I'm surprised a little bit. I could see that. And yeah, Brad confirmed. Yeah, man, the Bottle-O, surely you'd try and upsell and get them to buy an expensive beer if you're the Bottle-O. You got guys in from another country that have no idea. Seriously, you tell them something much more expensive than VB. And Lance saying, isn't VB the equivalent to Spates in New Zealand? Yeah, well, kind of. Not so much. And I can't remember the beer that I really liked in New Zealand when I was over there a couple of years back. It wasn't Spates. Steinlager's, mate? No, that doesn't sound right either. It definitely wasn't Tui's and Tui TUI. It wasn't those. They were terrible. Marcus is saying, we're not getting VB the next round. What's the best option? Look, that's very subjective. The beer choice, that could go down many roads. I think it tends to be, at most events that I go to, it tends to be Great Northerns that tend to be the most popular at the moment. But yeah, who knows? Connor Johnson saying DB. Oh, man, I have no idea. All right. And Wade Graham, yeah, another example of someone who's played pro. He played with the Warriors on the weekend, as did Billy Colias. So, yeah, a lot of pro players sprinkled in across the event. And I think one thing I wanted to quickly point out is quite often when I speak to teams after an event, say the Wicked Warriors, for example, I can hit those guys up and say, hey, how was the event? And they won the event. So they're going to say it was great. The paint was shooting great. The refs gave us all the calls and we were the best team. So, of course, it was great. And then I could speak to the team that ran last. In this case, I think it was PPG for the weekend. And they might say, oh, the refs were horrible. The paint was bouncing off everything. The sun was in our eyes. Our shoes were untied, whatever. Even PPG, I spoke to Lachlan on Saturday afternoon. He said he loved the fact that there was pro players out there playing, loved the level of competition, the field layout was fun, all of these things. So across the board, I only heard good things. So yeah, really outstanding. And Donovan saying, glad to hear Marcus and the guys are coming back out. If that's the case, that's awesome. Yeah, beer. I could talk about beer for a while if we're heading down that road. I actually drank the last beer in my fridge here at home on Saturday, and I quite often have a beer with dinner before the show on a Monday, and it felt weird tonight not having a beer. So yeah, a bit of an update on my personal life for the show. And Thomas saying, what happened to the Photoshop challenge? I'm partly to blame for that not being a regular feature, but also I feel like photographers are protecting the players. So media personnel out at events, if you take 200 photos in an event and then you see an embarrassing photo of someone and you don't upload that to social media or don't send it to me, well, we can't turn it into a Photoshop challenge. So I need a bit of help. If the media come up with the photos and send them to me, by all means, I'll share them out there, and everyone, we can bring back the Photoshop challenge because it was a favorite going back some time. And for this weekend coming up, it will be the Super 7s Pro Division, Sunday only, as mentioned, 6 teams competing. The Eskimo brothers here in this picture, they, I would imagine, would go in favorites. They won the series last year. They won the first event. They've had the same roster under different names for going on sort of 6 or 7 years. These guys are so in sync out on the field these days that they are hard to beat. The best thing about them, I think, from a spectator's point of view, is that you just know that they won't beat themselves. A lot of good teams can have bad games where they might beat themselves, and that is just not the case for the Eskimo brothers. If anyone is to beat them this weekend, you will have to go out and beat these guys. They will not lose a match through errors of their own. So best of luck to everyone competing this weekend. Obviously, SWAT would be up there. Cartel Nation, so a combination of the Eskimo Nation team as well as the Southeast Cartel guys. I heard they're running a deep roster this weekend. There might be a couple of imports coming out with that one. So Jordan saying, when is Asylum coming back? Mate, we trained on the weekend and had 7 guys at training when they only had to drive 10 minutes. To get 7 guys to Sydney to play a whole weekend, impossible. I've mentioned it many times on the show here. It's just, we've just had a massive change in the roster here over the past couple of years. We've got guys playing in the Pro Division across various teams, such as Cartel Nation and Colt. Some of the more dedicated guys from our area, but we've got I think we've got 3 kids under 1 amongst the main squad. A guy's moved into a brand new house last weekend. Guy built a house at the beginning of the year. A lot of changes in personal lives here. And Asylum's just, we're mostly just going to be playing Wagga events, to be truthful. We were going to play NXL ACT events as best we could, but the Canberra scene's just on a bit of a downer again at the moment. Not much happening there. So yeah, I would like to say soon that we'd be back at a Super 7s event, but I just don't see that being realistic, at least this year. There was a bit of chatter of maybe playing Masters if we can align all the wives and the babysitters and the dog sitters and everything else to make that happen. Connor saying, can't say anything, I know nothing. Well, that gives it away. There's definitely imports coming. What else is there? Cooper saying Cora is away in Germany, so we couldn't get any photos. I did notice that she has been traveling throughout Europe at the moment. So I'm not sure who was taking photos, but as soon as I seen that photo of the 2 teams from the weekend just gone, I thought that was good. I'd like to see for the Super 7s Pro this weekend, and the webcast will be up on Sunday. I would like to see a better turnout from a team like Colt. I think they were pretty disappointing. For the level of talent that they've got on the team, they should be able to put something better together than they did at the first round. And then Black Flag Assassins, they're a mixed bag. There's a lot of experienced ballers, but not necessarily experienced pro ballers there. So those guys are still finding their feet at that division. I wish them luck across the weekend, and I'm forgetting someone, but I can't remember off the top of my head who the 6th and final team is. Someone might be able to remind me. But as far as finals is concerned, I think you'll be seeing the Eskimo Brothers there. I think you'll see SWAT and Cartel Nation are every chance of being there as well. Connor saying, I count as an import. Yeah, well, you're Mexican these days. You're a Mexican by way of New Zealand, so that counts. Action Liz had the camera out on Saturday, so you might be able to see some photos if you're in semi-pro up on the Action Paintball page. Harley saying, how'd the training day at Coldstream go the other week? I heard it was 4 seasons in one day. It was rainy and muddy, but I think they had like 28 players out there or something. Sarah Birch said it was a massive turnout, really positive, and there was a lot of chatter about things getting going in Victoria again. So I heard good things. Hopefully that's the case, because paintball is struggling numbers-wise in various parts around the country, but none more so than in Victoria at the moment. What else have we got here? The comments are sort of scrolling through quite quick tonight. I can't keep up with them all. I think I've caught up for the most part. Technically just temporarily, permanently living in Melbourne. Yeah, hey, you phrase it however you want to phrase it, mate. But best of luck to all the guys. I'll be keen. I've sort of got a half day off for Sunday at this stage with bookings at the field. So I should be able to watch at least half the day's games on Sunday. So it'll be flipping things around. I'll be the one in the comments and not in front of the camera for the weekend. What else have we got to run through here? Quick mention, only a quick touch on this. I mentioned it last week that I was looking for expressions of interest to put this event together. A 4-person fixed price event here in Wagga with a cap of 8 teams on July 9. At that point, I had sort of 3 or 4 teams fairly certain that I was going to be confirmed. Within 24 hours of the show last week, that went from 4 to 8. Event is sold out. I've asked for deposits from teams to lock their spots in by the end of this week. It'll by the end of this month. So essentially the end of this week. Unreal, great response. Thank you to all the teams that are coming. Got guys from Melbourne, Sydney, Dubbo, Canberra, all sort of converging on Wagga for that one. So really happy with the turnout for the 4-player event. And we trained here in Wagga over the weekend using the brand new bunker set for the first time. And it was very foreign to us to blow up the field. And we spent more time taking air out of the bunkers when the sun broke through the clouds than having to get the leaf blowers out and blow them up, as we've been doing for the last couple of years with our old field. And the old field by no means was terrible, but it just wasn't a brand new field. And I think Sup Air, to their credit, I would quickly mention too, I think the quality and the materials that they use on their bunkers has improved a lot over the last couple of years. The new stuff, including the Velcro on the flaps for the valves, the tie downs look like they've been reinforced. I just like it all. Donovan saying 3 weeks till COFs. Yeah, well, quick point. You can see right there, Elite 1, June 10 and 11. You can see, if you continue looking here throughout the show, if you can draw your eyes away from my face at any point, you will see all the events that are coming up. Total War, seen Mike promoting that today with all the pyrotechnics and all the goodness that you would expect from Total War. I've got a Novs 3-man happening here on June 11. That is also sold out. 10 teams for that one. So great couple of events coming up over the next few months here in Wagga, which I'm really happy to promote. And Short saying playing with the Lumberjacks was good, with Shenanigans, and with Lumberjacks was a good experience. Yeah, so there was Raw was the team that I missed. Thanks, Wade, for pointing that. I can't believe I missed Raw. They're every chance of winning the whole thing. I just never understand with Raw how they're equally as likely to finish first as they are to finish last. I don't know if that comes down to the amount of beer they drink the night before, the breakfast that they have, the field layout, whether Elmo just puts on his force field. Anything can happen with those guys. And like I say, they're every chance of taking out the win or every chance of being dead last. And there's something to love about that. And I missed them earlier in my run through of who was playing on the event. But yeah, best of luck to all the guys. I'm keen. Like I said, I've got a half day available to watch it, and I'm keen to do just that. And Lumberjacks had car problems. Oh man, how horrible. When someone said there was 8 teams, I remember explicitly mentioning last week on the show that we were expecting 9. So that sucks for those guys if that was the case and they weren't able to make it up to the event. What else do I have to mention here? I think I'm pretty well through everything. Quick shout out for some birthdays. Jono, who was in the chat earlier on his birthday. What, your lovely wife's not taking you out for dinner or something, mate? Graham Davis, Daniel, Chris, Troy, Jacob, Cheryl, and Chester all celebrating birthdays. Yeah, good on Jono for jumping in. And it is also my baby, I say baby sister, she's 31. It is my sister's birthday as well. Not that she'd be watching, but happy birthday to everyone celebrating a birthday today or throughout the week. I think that's everything that I had to mention tonight. Hopefully you can all join me in the chat for the Super 7s on Sunday, and you'll join me, more importantly than that, next Monday here on PBHQ again when we wrap it all up and preview all of the events coming up throughout June, which is looking pretty jam-packed. So join me again next Monday. Until then, have a great week. Bye.